Hey everybody, I'm going to go over some of the messages of how to understand energy. This is an app that is on, it's an old app that is from an iPad. So this right here is kind of the understanding of kind of how energetic resources work, right? This kind of tranquil, this is just the way the world is. And then we get sometimes where we are erratic, right? If you've ever had a kid walk into a room and just bust out, right? Their energy just kind of dots in there. Mom, 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 right? And you're like, calm down. But we also have this moment where we become very focused, right? Where we kind of tune in. And a lot of you have been at this point where you're kind of, things are cooking, you're percolating, right? And then you start to kind of get real focused, or when you get real focused and agitated and somebody keeps breaking your train of thought, why does it irritate you energetically? This is why. But when you do get to be very focused, now you see the magic, right? And when you are right in that source of where you're supposed to be, that the world can move exactly as it should, and you can kind of move through the world at a pace that you enjoy. And it doesn't matter where you're going, that focus energy, or the surface, or what it can look like, but it also has this tail on it, right? So when you are looking at the energy that you bring out into the world, or that you send out, that it does have this little tail that kind of just keeps going. So that's also that kind of energy of magnification. But this is also right here why so many of you wear out or get burned out on something, because, right, all the energy is moving away from you. But then we add in, right, sometimes we call this kind of learning how to connect to source, right? That you have your energy, and then you're taking your energy and connecting it to source, and now you have this kind of third piece of energy. That is kind of the best explanation of what it is like to kind of get into source energy, that the energy itself has a starting point. Now, it doesn't matter where it goes, right? Sometimes you can get real close to it, but basically it allows for that one place, and you get real clear and you can kind of connect in. This is now when we get into that third piece of energy. So we have natural state, very focused you, connected you, and now we bring in this third element. And this third element is really when we start to get flow. And that conversation around the third element is a lot of times just focus, that you're connecting to energy, right? And then you're focusing it. And do you see how that no matter how I move it, all three lines are really working forward? And that is flow. It can be in any state, any position, but each of the touch points, energy is flowing through it, right? Now we have the fourth place. And this is really where, when you're trying to understand why you're doing work to not just be, right, not just be yourself, not just connect in, and then the third piece of try to get flow is when we get this fourth piece in. Now you see the magic of what is created. And that magic, a lot of times we call this universal light, or just understanding kind of the system. And see how there's a bubble in the middle? That bubble isn't about, right? So very different, right? It's coming from me. We're connecting and making us, right? It's coming from me. We are connecting and making a second piece of energy, right? Now we're having energy that flows, and it's moving between us. There's no center point here. But now when we get to here, the center point is completely outside of all of us, of all of those touch points. Yet it has that piece in the middle where it just is energy that continues to flow in a way that the middle just pulls it through, right? And that is really what you're hoping to get to, is that universal energy where it can continue to move forward from the center towards you, and it becomes this amazing ball of magic that moves with you, and you are just kind of within it. Sometimes people really look at that as kind of when you feel like you're surrounded with love, and it is a delicious state. And you see how all of the energy is in this kind of vortex of delish, no matter which way I move it. And now I can go back to flow, right? We can kind of paint that energy to do what you want. You may just choose to kind of be in the world with your masterpiece or try to gain flow with it, right? Or you can just let it go. Now, this piece right here, of any of you who have left a job or said, hey, something isn't for me, right? And you'll have energy for something, right? It was working, and then suddenly you're like, no, it's not working. This is the point that it'll always go back to, because this is natural state. This is an erratic state. And a lot of times you guys, or everyone, right? I mean, that you're kind of pushing into an idea and you're bubbling, but you're not actually completing it, right? Or you're sounding off. I got a piece here, I got a piece here, I got a piece here. And it just makes for this erratic energy. It's really getting in and dialing in and saying, hey, here's my point. This is what I am. This is the message that I'm giving out to the universe. And then it's connecting into that universe. And then it's really not just connecting into that universe, but giving it a direction and a flow so that energy can be there. And then it's entering that next piece, which is that gigantic ball of light and majesty that kind of makes the whole thing pop. So I want to just remind you, energy is fantastic, but it's also incredibly predictable. So enjoy yourself, have a wonderful evening, and I will see you soon. Be well.